Welcome to Secrets of a Seven-Figure Coach, the podcast for coaches, consultants, and creative entrepreneurs who want to hit between $100K and $1 million in annual revenue. I'm Beck Keane, your host and business mentor. On this podcast, I'm sharing the mindset, strategy, and energetics required to create a multi-six-figure business and beyond. Before becoming a coach, I grew 3 successful businesses. I'm an award-winning business owner who built and exited $1 million consulting firm and an industry-leading app that won awards back in 2016. And that all happened before I started my own coaching business, which has since generated over $2 million in lifetime revenue in part-time hours. I'm taking you behind the scenes from my very first 10K month to my very first 100K month. I'll also bring in coaches and consultants who have scaled their own coaching businesses so you can learn real-world tools and strategies from others who have walked the path. If you are a coach, consultant, or creative entrepreneur looking to 2 to 4x your revenue while also having an incredibly rich personal life, this podcast is for you. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. On the show today, I have a dear friend, a dear client, Angie Ross, who is an incredible money coach. She supports high-income earners who need to get their money shit together. Angie has been a client inside the mastermind, and I saw such incredible growth with her throughout not just the mastermind, but the last couple of years. And so I wanted to share her story with all of you so that you can hear firsthand from someone who's, walking the path, who's done the work, who's doing the work, and get her perspective on what shifted and what changed for her on this whole journey of becoming an entrepreneur and doing all the things that we need to do. So welcome to the show, Angie.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And I love the mastermind, but we're going to get into that in a second.
Yeah. Well, so you joined last year. You were in for a full year. So that would have been 2025.
Yes, I think I joined at the very end of 2024, like December or something. And then we kicked it off in 2025. And full year of 2025. And I did see a lot of changes. So in me and in my business. So super helpful.
So when I actually went back to our first call and some of the notes from, because we did like a bit of a discovery call and then the first call where people talked about what they wanted. And a couple things that you said were, do you remember?
No, I'm like, oh, damn, what did I say? I have no idea.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I love when I do this to people because they're like, shit, what did I say?
Exactly.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So you said you really wanted, and I think, sorry, just to back up, I think at the time that you came into the mastermind, were you still part-time teaching?
I was, yeah, part-time teaching personal finance to grade 12s.
Yes.
And trying to figure out how the hell to get out of there. So yes.
Yes. And you liked your job, like your part-time job, but you wanted to leave so that you could coach full-time, go 100% all in on your business.
Yeah.
And you said the 2 things that you thought would help you get there were obviously consistent clients, having more people come into your world. And the other piece was around messaging and articulating what you wanted to be known for, essentially on Instagram, because that's where you're really present.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, right. It makes sense. You were like, I need to know what my message is. And this is something I talk about with all my clients. You also needed consistent clients. How do we have a stable business? Well, by having consistent clients.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like on Instagram, I mean, I'll say you're blowing up, but that whole year you were in the win thread consistently as someone who was like, oh my God, yeah, I booked a client. Oh, actually, no, I booked 3 clients. Oh my God, somebody else reached out. So that it was like there was this building momentum kind of throughout that whole year. And also from my perspective, it felt like this muzzle came off
Great way of saying that.
in terms of the way you started showing up on Instagram. And I don't know if this is how you would say it, but in my like reflection, it's like you got a whole lot more unapologetic about the work you do. You probably niched down a little bit more, like got a bit more focused on who you want to serve.
Yeah.
And then with that came a lot of people wanting to come work with you.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. What I find kind of funny is like even my description of what I was looking for is very like masculine.
Yeah.
Like it's like I want strategy, I want structure, I want
Yes.
steps.
Yes.
And then I don't know when it was that I kind of started to just open up to the thought that maybe that wasn't going to be it.
Yeah.
And I agree. It's funny because unapologetic is my 2026 word of the year, but I actually think it's just building on the momentum that I started in 2025. And I just feel so much more unapologetic and so tied to that word. So that was perfect when you said that. I was like, oh, yeah, hell's yes, unapologetic all the way.
So I think my biggest question for you, and people listening to this conversation, because the majority of people that I coach want to either get to that, first 100K year or consistent 100K, 200K years. So multi six figures, 10 to 20K months.
Mm-hmm.
And that first barrier being consistent clients. Well, for you, if taking that muzzle off, unmasking, and becoming more unapologetic, like, well, that's the question is, would you say that that's what created the shift in energy and flow of clients into your business?
Yes, that is what created the clients into my business. But I think that I needed to get more uncomfortable
Mm,
in the behind the scenes in order to get unapologetic. And what I mean by that is forget the step by step, structure, logic, all of that. I had to dive into the feminine side a little bit and get to know me a little bit more so that
yeah.
I could be unapologetic and I could feel confident in that. And then my message would be really clear and I would stand in it regardless of what somebody else thought.
Okay. That's like a mic drop moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad I can go back and listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you had, and that's actually an interesting thing because last year in the mastermind, and I often find that the women who come together all generally need the same thing. And it's always it feels beyond my control in that the group is the group and who comes together is meant to be there. And there was definitely women who I would say came in with that masculine energy, believing they needed some strategic method to bring in clients, a funnel or a system or a process, when actually, and this very sort of push energy, like if I hustle more, if I do this, if I build out that, then these people would come. And maybe you can explain to us what that looked like more for you when you say tapping into the feminine a bit more. Because I think for a lot of people, they might be like, I don't really know what that means.
Mm-hmm. The easiest way for me to say this, and this just came to me while you were talking, was that I used to consistently look outside of myself. Like, this
Mm,
person is doing this. All right, let me try that. This person is doing whatever. Let me try that. And working through some of our messaging things, some of our inner work, some of our just listening to other people as well, get vulnerable in the
yeah.
group. Super helpful
Yeah.
for me, to be honest. Allow me to go inside and listen to my intuition a little bit more in terms of when I post something now, I'm like, would I listen to this shit? And if the answer is no, I don't
Mm,
post it. When I'm thinking of something that I want to relay to the clients and the customers or the potential clients and customers, I'm really getting grounded in myself in because I was that person making good money and nothing to show at the end of the month. We weren't in debt, but we didn't have any savings. So I was that person that I'm targeting. And I think what would have related to me? What was I feeling back then? And so I really got into that sense of like, where were my frustrations? Where were my feelings? And I stopped watching what everybody else was doing and
yeah.
trying to imitate that because you can't imitate me. Like, you are who you are, right? And if the people like me and if I'm unapologetic and they don't like it, well, they're not my people. And so I finally kind of got that through my head instead of being like, oh, I'm trying to appease everybody. This is how I appease everybody. This is how I
Yeah.
kind of like, and you know what? That's a teaching thing as well, because we did have to appease everybody or the kids would literally set your hair on fire. So I'm used to appeasing people.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this isn't going to work here. It's too
Mm.
vanilla.
And also, don't you think that that's exhausting? Like trying to make the mental preparation to make Instagram post that's going to be relatable and appease all the people and not trigger anyone and not piss anyone off.
Yeah.
Like that's exhausting. Or not trusting your own voice. That's also exhausting. Shutting down your own ideas, super exhausting. Looking outside yourself all the time. Looking outside yourself all the time. Like that's a recipe for burnout and not being able to have the capacity to actually build a business that you really want to have.
100%. And what's interesting is in getting into business ownership, I've learned about myself that I've always been hyper vigilant. I've always been monitoring everybody else's emotions. It worked well for me in teaching.
Yeah.
To a degree. I've never once had a complaint from a parent in 20 years of teaching. Not
Wow.
once. I manage that shit. Right.
Yeah.
But then when you get out into the business world and you're in control of all the things, it's a lot. And I was burnt out from teaching. I was exhausted. And I'm like, I cannot live that way in my business and expect to survive because I won't. And so, yeah, there was a lot of understanding and a lot of finally getting to kind of know myself and how I've been operating for, I don't know, probably since I was 4. And like, what is not working for me anymore? Let's ditch that shit and let's actually lean into the stuff that lights me up.
Yeah. Something I just love and appreciate about you was you would show up on a call one week and ask the question and kind of hum and haw through the thing. Like, am I allowed to do this? Am I allowed to say this? Kind of energy. And then the next call 2 weeks later, you'd be like, oh yeah, no, we've moved through that. And now this is what I'm doing instead. And it's way more aligned and in tune for me. And there felt like there was a speed or a momentum that you were just like, oh, what's that image of like a spider web? And you start to pull one thread and like all the other threads start to go. That's what it felt like from me observing you, is just this, momentum is, I guess, the word that keeps coming to mind.
Yeah, I think that I do that. Like I'm an action taker. And once I've gotten like a little piece of advice or I've seen something or someone's gotten vulnerable in front of me and I'm like, oh, they did that. And I love that. That was great. Then something clicks and I'm like, go time. So I definitely am an action taker and it works well for me. And I think before I was holding myself back a little bit, like before we started to do the mastermind and before I did some coaching, like I was holding myself back and all of these actions were built up in my head. And as soon as kind of the floodgates opened, well, look out. Cause now it's just like, I definitely am an action taker.
You totally are. And that's also the difference, right? In someone who joins, well, you know this, someone who joins coaching, group, or one-to-one, if you're just a passive observer and you don't take action, well, you might learn something about yourself, but you're not going to see a shift or a change. And we take action. Like confidence is built through action. Confidence is built by making the reps. You didn't all of a sudden be like, oh, now I'm confident to be unapologetic. You were like, I'm going to be really uncomfortable in showing up more as me unapologetically. And through doing that, I'm going to build the confidence to continue like building upon that.
I agree. And you know what's funny? Like when I started teaching, I was shitting my pants every day. It was scary and hard.
Yeah.
So I learned how to work through that. And then when I started my business, it was the same thing. Oh no, we're back to square one. We are shitting our pants every day. And you get used to it.
Yes.
You really train yourself to be like, oh, that's just the feeling that I have. And it's going to pass. Once I take the action, it's going to pass. So I trained myself through teaching. And then in business, it took me a little bit to get back into the driver's seat again. And then I was like, okay, you know what? It takes the action to move through this. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit in this forever. And I see a lot of people that do that. They sit in the uncomfortableness and they don't move. I'm like, I got to get out of this. The only way to get out of it is to get through it.
Yes. That analogy reminds me of sales. It's like when you're building up towards buying something or investing in something, you have all these thoughts and like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to join the program, join the group. There's all this uncomfortableness. There's a tension. And that tension or that uncomfortableness is relieved when you join the group and you step into that container. It's like also working out. It's uncomfortable to go do the exercise or go do the thing, but the only way to get stronger is by being by being uncomfortable and doing the hard thing. Same thing with business. And I feel like that's one of my main messages is like, let's get comfortable being uncomfortable. It would be weird if you weren't uncomfortable.
I agree. And I think people are always looking for that, like, I don't want to say perfect or easy decision. It doesn't really exist.
Yes, agreed.
And when we spoke in our original call, I was like, oh, I don't know. Am I ready to invest? And I was like, well, and it's funny because I make those decisions pretty quickly as well. I'm like, well, made the decision. Now we got to go take action on it. Right. So like I put the money in. Now I got to put
Yeah.
my money where my mouth is.
That's the other thing about joining a group is you put skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a difference between when you're invested in something and not invested in something. You have money coming out if you're on a monthly payment plan, or maybe you've paid in full and like that money's coming out or it's already gone. You then show up because you have that skin in the game and you're like, I'm doing this 100%.
It's true. And I'm even going to share the first couple of months, I don't think I was like, I'd showed up, but I'm not sure I was mentally there. And again, it's kind of that practice. I'm like, okay, I need to practice. And then I was like, you idiot, you're here. The tools are here. The resources are here. Like take advantage of this. Right. And
Yeah.
actually jump in full. And then I did notice a shift there because I think my shift was probably maybe this time last year, about a year ago. So it took me a few months to kind of get into it. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, okay.
Well, do you think that there's something there about, because you've mentioned vulnerability a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, because I've been running groups for 7, 8 years now, there are some women who show up and are ready to be vulnerable, and like that's actually their comfortable place. And there are other women who are sitting on the sidelines and they're like, whoa, I don't plan on saying anything like that in front of this group of women.
Mm-hmm.
But then because the other women are doing it and they're getting uncomfortable, you're like, shit, maybe I can do that too. And then when you get uncomfortable and you get vulnerable, then there are these shifts that happen, and the wheels start to turn.
Nail on the head. Like I think I am not going to be the first one
Yeah.
to do that. I'll watch in the way. It's funny because I'm not shy, but I'm not going to be the first one to do that. I'll wait in the wings. I probably didn't ask a question for the
You
first
didn't.
2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Literally, I was just sitting, taking it all in. And then again, once I've decided it's go time, it's go time. Floodgates are open. And it's interesting because I'm not going to get too deep into this, but as a young child, I was taught not to really show my emotions, and I wasn't allowed to be heard or seen in a way because whatever. She had lost her father when she was young and she was told not to cry about it.
Yeah.
So she passed that along. Fine. She's lovely. We get along amazingly. However,
Yeah.
I didn't feel very safe being vulnerable. And so I think for me, it takes a while. I need to feel safe with that group of people. I'm watching, I'm taking it all in. And then once I feel safe, I'll look out. Now you're not going to be able to stop me. But yeah, up until that moment, it's a little bit challenging for me.
Well, and I think you're not alone in that. Like I've actually seen women come into the mastermind and then leave part way because their fear of vulnerability takes over them. And even if the space is safe, for the majority of people, they're just not ready to put themselves out there in that way. And that's okay. We all have different timelines.
Yeah.
But something I wanted to touch on is really the power of a group, because I have a lot of people who come to me and they're like, well, I might as well just invest in one-to-one. That's close proximity. I get you to myself. I don't have to listen to anyone else. And there's benefit in that. And there's time and place for that. And I feel like you miss out on the energy of not just community, but the vulnerability, the shared stories, the normalizing, or even the hearing, like someone else who's like, oh, I did a 10K week or a 20K week, or I sold two this, or wait, you only charge 5K? I charge 10K. And hearing other people, what was that like? How would you explain that for yourself in terms of what it did for you to be in a group versus say one-to-one?
I think listening to other people share their stories, it made me feel like I could share mine and be heard. So it normalized for sure. The normalizing was a big thing. I also love feedback from multiple sources. And so your feedback is always great. And then other people would chime in and give feedback. And it gave me that little I don't know, burst of like confidence to keep going and doing what I was doing. People be like, oh, I love what you're doing. And I'm like, okay, great. This is amazing. So I think those two pieces, the normalizing, huge for me. And the feedback piece was really huge as well. And then I also think it's really important as business owners, especially if you're a solopreneur, to hear that people are going through the same things as you. Because sometimes you're sitting in your office doing your work and you're thinking everyone's just like, if you look on Instagram, everyone's like making a gazillion dollars a week. And you're like, what the hell am I doing wrong? Right. And then you go into a group where people are actually being honest.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's ups and downs in business, no matter how good you are.
Yes.
And so it's really nice to kind of hear that and to see those struggles as well and feel like there's a camaraderie in that versus it can be lonely being a solopreneur. So it's nice to have that group of people.
Especially, I feel like a lot of the connection pieces too are, yes, around business, but also around other things like having kids and juggling being a mom, juggling aging parents, health challenges. Like, there's all these other aspects to running an online business that aren't about business, that are unique to being women and mothers, and many of us perimenopausal.
Oh gosh, yes. Yes.
So there's like that community piece where you feel like, yeah, you're not alone.
Super, super helpful. And I felt like that for me was not the main thing that I got out of it, but definitely one of the big things that keeps me kind of feeling grounded as a business owner.
Are you able to pinpoint the main thing that you got out of it?
I think honestly, it was about getting more vulnerable and being more open. For me, it's that feminine side versus the masculine side, because honestly, I am such a like logical, like I consider myself a mathlete, right? As a money coach, it's like steps and like numbers and all of these things. And I was kind of shoving the rest of me down.
Yeah.
And so I think it really allowed that side to come through, to be vulnerable, to stop ignoring that side of me, and to try and listen to myself more instead of looking outside. I think that's probably the biggest thing. Like, I literally don't care what other people are doing now. Like, I do not give two shits. Like, sometimes I should care a little more, but I just don't. It's gone.
This actually makes me so happy and is so validating, because I was doing a bit of a brand exercise for myself and thinking about, aside from like helping women make money and sell high ticket and stuff like that, I was like, well, what's my kind of like undercurrent mission? And what came to me in that moment was, when you love, accept, embody the parts of yourself that you repressed as a child, teenager, young woman, that's when you become the more powerful, unapologetic version of yourself.
Yeah.
And you actually said that. You were like, well, I had to be more me. I had to get more comfortable me being me. And I think for a lot of people, they're like, oh my God, that sounds so simple, but it's not. Like, that is legitimately the work. And I like to say, when you bring more of yourself to the table, that's when things in your business will shift. And you are such incredible evidence of that.
Why, thank you. Because I'm telling you, if you would have said that at the, in 2024, you just need to be more you. I'd have been like, okay, yeah, sure. Let's get on that. So I feel like, and again, it's steps, right? I'm still in it. I'm still doing it. Like, I'm still working through some things, but honestly, again, once the floodgates open for me, I'm like, oh no, I cannot put that back in Pandora's box. Like,
right. The box is open.
The box is open. Nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I really I'm hearing that too. And I'm hearing it for myself. And because I also get distracted. I'm like, oh, look at that coach and look at what she's doing. And maybe I should be more like that. And I'm hearing the messages actually like tune into what you want to do, how you want to do it, who you want to be. And that's the path to creating consistent income or more energy around sales.
I think in my sales calls as well, it really comes out that I'm confident in what I offer, that I know what it does. And if someone has an objection, I actually don't address the objection so much as being like, this is what I have to offer. I know it's great. If it's not for you right now, that's fine. I'm going to be here. And what's actually really interesting is that a lot of times the person decides to sign up. So it's very interesting, because I'm like, that's your objection. That's whatever's going on with you. It literally has nothing to do with me. I used to have an attachment to the outcome.
Yes. The interesting thing is that in like sales psychology, when someone feels safe to say no,
Mm,
then this is actually a really good lesson.
mhm,
When they feel safe to say no, they then can get connected to their own internal desire
mhm, mhm,
of wanting to resolve the problem slash get the result.
mhm.
So if we try to convince someone or we're like pushy in the way we sell, the person feels they start to pull backwards, right? And then they lose that connection to the reason they signed up for the call in the first place and the thing that they want. So it sounds like a lot of people then are given permission to say no, which makes them actually want to say yes, which is amazing.
This is it. I'm always like, it's a big investment. It's a big time commitment. And if it's for you, great. And if it's not, you know where I am.
So that's a great lesson for people
Mhm,
is feeling really confident and secure in the work that you do,
mhm.
feeling that value. I feel like there was something else you said in there that was really important. You don't make their objections
No,
mean anything about you.
exactly.
If someone's like, oh my gosh, that sounds, wow, that's a lot of money. You're like, yeah, it's an investment.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
I literally, before I'd be like, oh no, should I lower my price?
Right.
Oh, should I do? No, wishy-washy is not going to cut it for me. And honestly, when people come into my program, I know the ROI that they get. And so I'm just like, you know what? You get a massive ROI, but that's your decision.
Yeah.
And I literally do not care. I actually said that the other day on a sales call, and my husband was walking by, and he's like at dinner, he's like, "What were you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh, I was in a sales call." He's like, "I heard you say you literally do not care." I'm like, "No." Like I said to the girl, "You know what? It's for you or it's not, and I don't care." Like I'm gonna do this program with somebody else. It's an
Right.
amazing program, and it's your choice. Like I want you to have all of the decision making capacity, and I will just keep on keeping on. No problems either way.
That is so, I just hope coaches are listening to this and being like, okay, so on your call, do not make it about you.
Mhm.
Do not make stories up about you.
Exactly.
Literally be embodied and confident in the work you do. Know the value of the work you do, the results you help people achieve, whether or not you help with a money outcome, not even part of the conversation. It's like, that's, yeah, not even part of it. And objections are about what is coming up for the other person. It doesn't mean you
Mhm.
need to change your price, change your package, or that there's something wrong with it.
Exactly. And actually, what I used to do my sales call, I still do this, send an email with all the details because there's like a lot of things going on in the 6 months. So just so that they're clear. And I used to be like waiting for them to email back with questions or sign up or whatever. I literally hit send and I'm like, not my business.
Yeah.
It is not my business what they do with this afterwards.
Yeah.
If they sign up, great. If they don't sign up, great. It's obviously not right for them in the moment. It is. So that has been one of my kind of learnings as well. Is like if someone, I don't know, unsubscribes from my email list, I used to be like, oh, did I say something in that email that upset them? Not my business. It's not my business. Like they have things going on. And if I'm not the right person for them, that's fine.
Yeah. Or if they're not ready for whatever their
Yeah,
own BS reasons are, that's okay. And they can come around if they want to.
that's right. And I'll be here and doing my thing and
Yeah.
a lot less worry about what everybody else is doing. It's very freeing.
I used to like if someone reached out in the DMs and I would send them a DM back and be like, oh, here's my packages or whatever. Then I would like wait for them to message me back and
Mhm.
I'd go check and check and check. And now I'm like,
Mhm.
they'll come back if they want to come back. And the other piece of this is like, for me, I actually like I really have no interest in chasing people.
Exactly.
I've noticed that the people who say yes and who jump in are the ones who are going to take action and get results. And so if you're kind of wishy-washy, and this doesn't mean like, yes, I know some people need to think about it or talk to the husband or whatever, but in general, if you're wishy-washy and you have 8 million questions, you're probably not the right person. Like you're probably just not quite ready, and that's okay. I'm going after the people who are ready. Like you, when you
Yes.
came into the program, you were ready. You were ready to go.
No,
And
I agree. And I don't want to spend my time trying to convince someone
ever.
that, especially not during the program, like they got to be
Yes.
on board. It's not going to get the results they want. And that's not what I'm here for. Like I
Yes.
know what I can do with my time and how I can help them. And if they are not committed to that, that again, not my problem. Like I
Yeah.
probably say that a lot now. My husband's like, oh, is anything your problem? Like, not really. Not my problem. The dishes are dirty, not my problem. Like, so it's really great I should get a bumper sticker.
Yeah,
So
you should.
not my problem.
Okay, I want to circle back to the work you do, but I'm going to segue into that because you said one of the things that you loved about the mastermind was getting feedback from the group.
Mm.
And I remember on one of the calls, we were doing a program about messaging, articulating your brilliance. And I can't remember if it was you who said it or someone else who said it, but it was in the chat. And it was basically get your money shit together. And you were like, can I say that? Because that's kind of what it is. You're getting your money shit together. And then a bunch of the women in the chat were like, yes, that's what I think to myself is I need to get my money shit together. And since then, you've kind of been running with that line. So do you want to talk a bit about the work that you do and the people you support? And I mean, I'm curious, well, and I can speak from my own experience, but for you, because this is the work that you do, like what really holds people back from getting their money shit together? And what do you see as the biggest shift that allows them to get their money shit together?
I was kind of held up on like using the word shit. I'm not held up on it anymore. It's super helpful. And then honestly, when I'm working with people, I'm casual. So if they don't like, because I had someone actually ask me, because I did a get your money shit together workshop, and I had a lady ask me if there was going to be swearing in it. And I'm like, well, the word shit's in the title. So like, I'm not going to outwardly like make sure I swear 10 times, but it might happen.
Might come out.
And so I literally wrote to her, I might not be the one for you.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I'm not gonna be the one for everybody. But yeah, I'll just share. I was a high earner with zero money in the bank. I mean, we paid all our bills, but there was nothing for savings, nothing for vacation. We weren't investing aside from my pension. My husband makes good money too, winging it all the time. And every single month I would say, I'm going to save whatever's left at the end of the month. And I'd look in my bank account and go, oh shit, on to the next month. There's nothing left. And so I think for me, what most high earners that are in this space are feeling is like, I make really good money. Where the hell is it going?
Yeah.
That's something I hear a lot of. And so when I work with people, I do an analysis of the money and tell them exactly where it's going. But I think that's important, but I don't think that's the reason why I get the transformations. I get the transformations because I flip the whole idea of traditional budgeting on its head. And I do what I call the anti-budget, which is essentially we're going to put your money towards the things you care about first. So like my family's ridiculous with vacations. We're spending about, I don't know, I'll say it, but about 35 to 40K this year on vacations. We're going to Ireland. We're going to Alaska. We were in Kelowna. We have a lot of vacations. But the point of that is we put the money towards that first. So every month we are saving $3,000 towards vacations, sometimes more, depending on how good my business was that month. So we put the money towards those things first. And then what we do is we spend the rest guilt-free. And I think that's the thing for high earners. You can't put them on a really restrictive budget because they're going to say, F off. I make good money. Don't tell me I can't have a Starbucks.
I want to shop at Aritzia and I want a Starbucks.
Thank you. And you should be able to, right?
Yeah.
Like I make good money. Don't tell me this, lady. Like, you're crazy if you think I'm going to stick to $20 a week in my wallet. It's not going to work. Yeah. So what we really do is get crystal clear with intentionality in terms of your money. And then I build a structure for that. So I'm telling you exactly how much money you have a week to spend guilt-free. We are automating all of your savings. I'm also doing a red flag assessment, which is huge for a lot of people because I will look at things like their investments, what fees they're paying on those, what we could do differently. I don't invest on their behalf, but I will teach them how to invest on their own. Yeah. I look at things like insurance. I look at things like all the things that could be potentially going wrong, debt, all red flag assessment. That's a big one as well. Because oftentimes people,
Angie, I've never heard you talk about this.
I'm coming out with a new service on that in the spring. Okay. That's like a 1 hour type, maybe even 90 minutes red flag assessment. So they don't go through the whole program necessarily. We go through, pick out some red flags. And then usually people will want to do the program because we found so much stuff in that 90 minutes that they can fix thousands and thousands of dollars that then they can see the value of going through the whole system.
Yeah. Like even my energy, I was like, wait, because I
Mhm.
knew, and I'm familiar, a little bit with your work in terms of,
Mhm.
okay, put your money where your values are,
Mhm.
have your guilt-free amount that you can spend. But actually, what I didn't think about, and what you've got me thinking about, is all the places where my money is just going, like insurance and whatever the things are, fees for an investment advisor, like all that stuff. Maybe there's money there that we don't need to be, that we could be funneling to places that we'd rather funnel the money to.
That's it, right? Like a lot of people, I have a story about one client who was paying her financial advisor $6,000 a year on her $200,000 RRSP, and she
Whoa.
hadn't spoken to him in 3 years. For half an hour, he made 18 grand in that half an hour. And worse than that is that the investment that he had her stuff in was terrible. Like
Mm,
it wasn't even keeping up with ETF. It wasn't doing anything. So I'm like, listen, we could move this over here, save you 5 grand. She's gonna still have to pay a bit of a fee, save
yeah.
you 5 grand of the six, and your money's going to make you more. And so things like that, she would never have picked up on that. And that's
Yeah.
compounding every year that's happening to her.
Oh my God. You're like, I'm like, maybe that could be happening to us. We still have RESPs over with, or our
Mhm.
RSPs with investors group, and they're, maybe
Yeah.
there's stuff going down there.
This is the thing, like what I think I bring to the table the most out of all of it is an unbiased eye on your money.
Yeah.
Because most of the time when you're doing money dealings with the bank or your financial advisor, your insurance person or whatever, they're getting paid a commission. So whenever they suggest something to you, their wallet is getting fatter. So when I suggest something to you, I do not make any money off of that suggestion. I won't even do affiliate links on like opening a high yield savings account because I'm like, if I do affiliate links, all of a
Mm,
sudden I'm not unbiased. So I will not
right.
do any of that. And
Right.
so when I get paid, I'm paid like an hourly service based rate. You know what you're paying up front, and everything that I'm suggesting in our conversations and our time together is completely in your wallet's best interest. And so I think that's something that really isn't out there very much in the financial industry, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm curious, what got you into money coaching and being in the industry? And because clearly you are very passionate about it as well.
Mm-hmm. So I actually was teaching personal finance to grade 12s for 20 years. I took my CFP courses, certified financial planning courses, but I didn't want to sell commission based products. And that's really how that industry is structured. It's getting a little bit better now, but that's how it was structured. And so I stayed teaching and I liked it until I didn't. And the parents kept asking me for advice. So
Mm,
they would come to parent teacher interviews and be like, oh, we don't really care how Johnny's doing. He's fine. But we have this question for you. And I'm like, okay. So I'm giving the unbiased advice. And actually, I was like, I want to get into teaching. How do I make this a career? And
yeah.
so I went and took my mortgage broker license, which most people don't know. And I did that for about 6 months. But again, what kept coming around was people wanted the advice. They
Mm,
didn't, the mortgage, fine, side product. They actually wanted the advice that went along with it. And I'm like, oh, there is something here.
yeah.
And so that is when I decided to make the leap into this area and got my cash flow specialist designation and started to actually use my finance degree and put it into practical use.
Is there anything you want to say more? Well, yeah, like about the work you do, the people you
Mhm.
work with, who's your sweet spot client? And maybe they're listening to this podcast. Like, let's call them forward and share a bit more about the work that you can do with them.
Yeah. Like usually my sweet spot client is not in dire straits financially. They're not going to go bankrupt. They're not looking at a debt consolidation. It's not like that. It's like, where the hell's the money going? And why don't I feel like I can do more with it? Because
Yeah.
I'm so successful. Like, normally, these people are intelligent, successful, have good careers, have a good business. All of the things are going right in their life. And money is that piece that is just so frustrating to them and they can't seem to get a handle on it and they don't know why. And honestly, usually it's just as simple as we don't have a sustainable system.
Yeah.
We're juggling all the time. So what I often see is like, a car repair comes up and we got to use the line of credit. And then
Yeah.
we got to figure out how to pay that off next month. And so we're always kind of reactionary with our
Yes.
money instead of proactive. And so the system that I use gets you into the proactive pattern where you are in control of your money instead of the other way around. And I would say 90% of people are in that boat, to be honest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe go through phases. Like I can
Yes.
definitely relate to times where we've been in that boat, times where we've come out of that boat and then we're back in the boat.
Mm-hmm.
That up and down energy too, I'm sure is something that your clients feel, and they're craving that stability, not even stability and security, but like certainty and empowerment. And they want to feel like they really understand their finances and where it's going and what they're doing with it.
Exactly. I'll share a story that happened this last week. My husband needs something on his motor, something about a turbo. I don't know what that means. Anyways, so he comes home. He's like, "Oh, I have to fix my turbo. It's going to be 3 to 4K." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." He's like, "You don't care." I'm like, "No, there's 8 grand sitting on our house and car repair fund.
Yeah.
It literally has zero impact on my life,"
Right.
which is a ridiculous thing to say. But I'm like, I'll just transfer the money over and pay off the Visa. He just looks at me because I handle most of the finances because I'm the mathlete, and he knows the money's there, but we used to always have a reaction. Like
Yes.
there used to always be an emotional, like, oh shit moment. Now what do I do? How am I covering this? And now it is literally same with sales calls. I have no emotional attachment to my money except for the fact that it provides me with so much more joy because we go on these extra vacations and we do all this stuff. So one more story about my husband and I. We used to have fights every year about his annual ski vacation. So when he turned 40, he went to Whistler with his friend for a ski vacation. Awesome. Enjoy. When he turned 41, he's like, "So I'm getting ready to plan my vacation." I'm like, "Wait a minute. Is this annual? What the hell just happened?" So I
Yeah.
didn't give him any grief about the 41 because I'm like, "Yeah, you turned 40, go." I'm not prepared for this. And so we got into a fight. And that's fine. He went off on a ski vacation, moved on. 42, same shit, different day. And I'm like, wait a second, this pattern's not healthy. Now he's resentful because
Yeah.
he works damn hard. He should
Yeah.
be able to go on his one ski vacation a year. And who am I to stop him? So I always say that's where I was being an asshole in my marriage with the ski vacation. But it was because I was panicked about where to find the money. It really had nothing to do with him going on a ski vacation. Like when he's gone, I also get a break. So I'm like, wait a minute, this is like, what do I do to stop the financial burden of this? And when we started to use the cash flow system that we use now, the anti-budget, I literally am saving $400 a month for his ski vacation.
So you're being proactive with it.
Yes. He
Yeah.
comes to find me now. And I'm like, yeah, there's 4,800 bucks. Go,
Yeah.
go to town. Enjoy.
Go have a good time.
Yep. Enjoy.
And
And
then
then
presumably if you want to do something similar.
I spend a lot of money on golf.
Yeah.
And so that's the other thing. Back in the day, I was still spending a lot of money on golf. And he's like, "But don't you golf?" I'm like, "It's not the same." It was exactly the same. But I was justifying the golf.
Yeah.
And I wasn't finding joy in his ski vacation, except for a little break.
Oh my gosh, Angie, you are like a gift. I feel like everyone should immediately call you. We will put links to your website, your Instagram, maybe. How do you like people to book a call? Like just direct, or do you want them to DM you first if they're interested in working with you?
I have the link in my Instagram, but they can DM me if they have questions. I'm pretty easygoing.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I always offer free 30-minute calls. They can come and have a chat with me, see if it's the right fit. Again, I don't care. No, but I love having those conversations. And I oftentimes will like give a few tips in the conversation when people tell me about their situation. I'll just give a few little, have you thought about this?
Yeah.
And I always love talking about money. As you said, I'm passionate about it and I am. So I'm open to having those calls anytime.
One thing that's just coming to my mind is I bet a lot of people feel vulnerable about sharing their money situation
Mm-hmm.
and or shame about where they're at and like they should be
Mm-hmm.
further along.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you handle that in your calls?
Well, I think one thing that I try and do is share my own story, which is why I shared that story about the ski vacation.
Yeah.
I am not coming from a place of perfection. So I think that's really helpful for other people to note that. And so that's another piece of me getting vulnerable and how it's helped my business. Because when I tell my story, it's not like, oh, since childbirth, I've been saving money in the bank account. No, like I have not been saving money in the bank account since I was 2 years old. I'm not type A. I do not like to count every penny. I've had my own shame and guilt around money because, again, I felt like, why don't we have any extra money? What the hell's going on? So I think that's really important for people to know. And so I always come from that place of empathy. I understand. And I've never, ever had a client say that they felt uncomfortable because honestly, we've all been there. And
Yeah.
so that's the thing. I'm coming from that place. And what I want to also tell people is that the majority of people are there. Nobody is talking about it.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're not talking about it because we were taught not to. And so I'm kind of here to be like, that's bullshit. How are you going to learn? How are you going to be better if we don't talk about it?
Yeah, talking about it and like putting the things out on the table is the only way you can shift and change that energy.
Yeah, and the energy is permeating other things in your life, right? Like I talked about the relationship. Again, we weren't going bankrupt, but we were certainly having a lot of resentment about things that he wasn't able to do or that we weren't doing as a family because money was holding us back.
Yeah.
So literally we don't talk about money now, except for when he says, oh, there's this bill going on the visa. And I'm like, yeah, got it. And I transfer the money over. Like we do not have money conversations because the system runs itself. And all of our conversations are more like, where do we want to spend our vacation?
So much more fun.
Yeah.
Angie, thank you so much for your time. It has been so incredible chatting with you.
Well, thank you. I've loved it. And again, if anyone's thinking about Becky's programs, I will offer up as well. If anybody wants to talk to me to get my experience, you've heard my experience here, but I'm an open book. So,
oh my gosh, thank you so much. I so appreciate that. Thanks, Angie. And thanks everyone for listening. And we'll see you in the next episode.